A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
Hey everyone, I'm Chrono Garuda, and today we're taking a look at the DX Chogokin Golion KO known as Lionbot. Now, as I just mentioned, this is a knockoff, but this is essentially the exact same mold as the Poppy/Matchbox release of Golion/Voltron. It comes with all the accessories, die-cast metal, etc. that the originals had, yet this is still a knockoff, and apparently these knockoffs are still being made in Taiwan to this day, and were originally made in the same factory as the Golions were back in the day. Now, starting off with the packaging, it's just beautiful. Instead of saying Golion up here, it says Lionbot, and everything's translated into English. You got the picture of Lionbot here, all the 5 lines here, and it's a little hard to see from here, but they're actually kind of grainy images on here because, like I said, this is a knockoff. On the side, it just has all the 5 lines seen here. This is how it looks on the top, and even has a little handle for you to carry. On the other side, once again, you got all the 5 lions. And the back is just plain cardboard. The box opens up just like a model kit, and as you can see, it has beautiful window packaging. And in my Soul Chogokin Vehicle Voltron review, I mentioned how the packaging was old school. This is what I was talking about. Starting things off, here we have the Black Lion. Now, I always liked the design of the Black Lion, but I always thought it looked more like a pit bull than a lion. Now, I do have a major problem with this particular copy of the lion, is these wings. Because they're extremely floppy. They don't really hold together very well, and are just very loose. And if I were to play around with it or something, it just flops all over the place. It's actually pretty bad in robot mode as well. But they're extremely loose, and it's really frustrating. I tried taking it apart for answers to see if I can fix it. But when I tried tightening the screw that was holding these wings together, it just made them rotate on their own, like manually, you know? And it was pretty annoying. And I had trouble putting it back together. With the help of my dad, I was actually able to put these legs back together. It was really hard putting these back together. But other than that, it's a really cool design. Now, the paint applications on all the lines are a little bit sloppy. The camera focus on here. Just give you a better look at it. Like, see, you got some paint splashes here and there. Not a perfect paint job at all. But this is a knockoff, so I was kind of expecting that. I do like the head sculpt though, it's really nice. And it's got some chrome legs and some chrome here. And there are fingerprints on it because I did play around with it for quite a bit while filming the video. And unfortunately, there is some wear on the figure, even though I barely even played with it. I just got out of the box and it looked like this. It got some wear on the chrome there, for example. But it is what it is. Yeah, I'm more worried about these wings. But I contacted the seller of where I got this from, and he said that he'll see if he can get me another Black Lion that has better wings. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. Now onto gimmicks and accessories. Here are some of the missiles that this set came with. And there was a runner of yellow missiles here. I took some of them out already. And I noticed that here, there are these little cannons, these spring-loaded missile cannons. I tried sticking the missiles in there, like various missiles of all shapes and sizes, but none of them seem to fit and work. And that's a problem. Another problem I have with this set is that not all the missile launchers seem to work. Now, he comes with this blade that's for this lion, and you can just put it in the mouth like so. The mouth hinge is really tight. You just stick it in there. Right. And you can do that. I think that looks pretty sick. You get this all chrome cannon, and this is one of the missile launchers that don't seem to work. Looking at the instruction booklet, let's see. There was this big missile, and it implied that you're supposed to stick this missile in to here. It's logical because it's such a big cannon, so it comes with a big missile. But unfortunately, it didn't seem to work, and none of them seemed to work at all, which made me really sad. But I believe you can stick these missiles anywhere on here. I'm not really 100% sure. The instructions were a little bit vague. I think it goes on here the best. They don't fit on perfectly, these little rocket launchers. Hold on. There we go. That doesn't look bad. And you get this thing that I think the instructions call a boomerang, or it looks more like a crossbow. But you can stick it right, I believe, here. So you can have them armed to the teeth, which is really cool. Now, in my Galaxy Megazord review, I mentioned that the red Lionzord looks very similar to the lions from Voltron. Well, just to compare, here is that lion. And I don't know, I think they kind of look like each other. Let's do some side-by-side comparisons. Side. The back. Other side. But here's the thing that I think makes the black line a much better line than this one. Is the engineering on this thing is better. Because they both have yellow horns in the robot mode, but for transformation, it has these yellow horns that flip out. On the contrary, the red lion for the Galaxy Megazord or Gingayo is a parts former. You take out these horns and you put them on like earmuffs. Hold on. You get the idea. So, why is it that a toy that came out in the early 80s can do this, but a toy that came out in the late 90s has to do this? Why couldn't it just have the horns flip out like this? I have no idea. I mean, both of these molds were made by Bandai, so I don't know what they were thinking when they designed the line for the Galaxy Megazord. Now, since this is technically a Chogokin, there are die-cast parts. Now, as for this lion, I believe it is this section here, this whole little waist, this bottom waist section, or this whole section here. And there's not much die cast on this line, but despite that, it's still very heavy. Now, for the black line's articulation, it's got the front legs that can move. Nice ratchets. They got hinge joint here, and hinge joint at the paw. Head can look down, but that's mainly for transformation. As mentioned earlier, it's got a tight hinge at the mouth that can open pretty wide, so it makes it look like he's roaring. Or is it a sheep? Because none of the lions in Voltron have manes. Or maybe they're mountain lions. Anyway, the back legs here are really tight. I think it's because when my dad and I put the legs back together, we made it a little too tight, and it's really hard to move. This one's okay, but this one is really tight, so I might have to loosen up in the near future. Oh, that didn't sound good. See what I mean? It's really tight. And these wings, they are all for transformation. You can have them pop out. They're on multiple hinge joints, really tight hinge joints, mind you. And I feel like they could break whenever I transform the line, so I just try not to play with it too much. Or maybe I'll just loosen the screws and it won't be so bad. Let's see. Here. And now the tail, I heard reports of the tail breaking, which makes me really nervous. But it can go up and down as for transformation, and it's also got a 1 sticker right here because it's the first line. Next up are the red and green lions. Now, at first glance, they may look like they're identical, which they kind of are, but they're not the exact same figure. They got a little hair there not included. They actually have different body types, but they both become the arms, which is why they look so similar. And I hate to say it, but these are probably my least favorite lions in the set. Not saying they're bad, but just my, oh, there's the hair again. Probably my least favorite because the proportions are really weird. It's got these massive heads, and then you got these really tiny little legs, and it just looks funny. It looks like a dachshund or something. With a ferocious lion head, of course. It's got number 3 here, and number 2 with some sticker details there. And I'm actually pretty impressed by the amount of detail that they put on these lions. Especially for the time that they came out, like back in 1981 when Golion came out. So that's really cool. And once again, paint apps are a little messy on these guys, but they're not too terrible on my copy. Here's the red lion. And as you can see, there are these buttons. That's because they can launch their heads, and in the robot mode, they can rocket punch. So I'll demonstrate that when we get to the robot mode. Now for articulation, the legs can move like so. Got hinges here and the paw, and same thing at the back. You can move here. We got some bend going on there, and another hinge to the paw. The tail can go up and down. And if you transform it and have go all the way down, it just looks like he has a big dick. And the articulation is pretty much the same on the red line, so I'm not going to cover it. Now as for die-cast parts, I think most of the main body is die-cast, because it seems pretty cold on the touch. And what's interesting is that on the original release of Golion, made by Poppy/Bandai, these joints and these tails were supposed to be chrome, but I actually think that's a bad thing. While it looks pretty, it tends to chip very easily. So I'm kind of glad we just got this great plastic on my copy. Oh, and these are bendable. These can bend because you become elbows and you can have them like this. So you make some dynamic poses with them. Oh, I almost forgot. The mouth can open and close. But this one can't open too much, which is a little bit of a bummer, but oh well. Now for the accessories for the red lion, you get this thing that they call a laser gun. It also has a little blade on it. It's all chrome, like all the other accessories on these lions. And supposedly it can stick on here, but for some reason it doesn't seem to work. I guess it's supposed to go on the sides. I'm just looking at the instructions as I go. But it doesn't look like it seems to stick anywhere, which is a bummer. Now you also get this missile launcher here. And I have 2 missiles from the set that we just stick in. 1 and 1 more. And now you can just stick it on here, but not really the most secure fit. As you can see, it just wobbles around, comes off easily. A little too easily, nothing taps in or anything. And for the blade, let's see if I can find it. Here it is. You get this sickle looking thing. And just stick it in the mouth. I think it's easier to do it like this. Hold on. And there we go. Kind of. Do we have it? No, it's coming out. It's coming out. There we go. I think that looks pretty cool. I think that's about it. Oh yes, these missiles, they do fire. So you can do that. They actually fire very far. So I'm gonna just put these missiles aside. I'm gonna just keep the gun up here. Now for Green Lion, it's got another rocket launcher. Here it is, and as you can see, it's got this long button. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any missiles that work with this one. Now, like I said, not all these missile launchers work, but I think it's for the better because I do not want to risk losing any of these missiles, and they'll mostly just be sitting in the box forever. But I only took them out just so I can try to demonstrate them. But as you can see, this one sticks on a lot better. I can even swivel, which I think is really nice. I guess it's better off just to pretend fire, because like I said, I don't want to lose any of the missiles or anything. Now onto the blade, you get this all chromed out blade. Or should I say blades, because there's like 3 blades. Kind of makes you think of Wolverine's claws or a sai or something. So anyway, just open the mouth. And then you just close it. And I think that looks pretty menacing. I would stay away from these kittens if I was a scary monster trying to attack them. And there you go. And last but not least, here we have the blue and yellow lions. Now, once again, like the arm lions, these guys are pretty similar at first glance, but they are different molds, especially at the heads. The blue lion looks more like a dog, to be honest, because of these ears. Oh, sorry for the blurriness. But, as you can see, there's a button up there. And if you lift this up, there's a missile launcher. And it is possible to launch a missile, which I'll do right now. I believe it's these little red ones that launch. So let's just stick it in. And the problem is that once you have a missile in, you can't close it. You can't have it go down. But anyway, you can have it launch. Or not. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. I want you guys to see it launch. It wasn't very strong, but you get the idea. And this blue lion has some nice sticker detailing and everything, some nice details, a whole chrome legs, and it also has this disc launcher up here, which you can pull up. It's really tight, so bearing with me. It's really tight going. There we go. Now, I've literally figured out how the disc launcher works. Now, there it comes with 2 yellow discs that you can shoot. I'll just pull it out of the little bag. Here's what it looks like, and there's a spare one in the bag. I'm not really too sure how it works. I'm not going to launch this one because I actually managed to get it inside there. And when I launch it, basically to launch it, you just pull back and let go. And when I did that, this thing nearly disappeared into the vents in my room. And I do not want that happening. So I do apologize, I won't be able to demonstrate that one. Now onto the yellow lion. This one, it has to be my favorite of the 5 lions. I don't know why, it just works. Maybe it's because it reminds me of the saber-toothed tiger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. Well, technically this came first, but you get the idea. But I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. If you watch my videos, you would know I love that stuff. I'm also into Super Sentai as well, which is basically the original source material. But okay, we're getting off topic. But it has a little feature here. We can open up these sides, revealing these ear guns. Now, that may look cool at first, but they don't launch at all. These springs, they took them out. They took out the spring launching mechanism on here, which the Matchbox version also did. And the Matchbox version kind of sucked because it had all the weapons gone. All the weapons I've been showing so far, and all the missile launchers and gimmicks and everything I've shown so far was all gone. All you had was just the 5 lions, and they combined, that's it. And you had to buy the sword and shield as DLC, which was so weird. But I'm kind of glad I got this version because of that, but they don't launch. Boo-hoo. Oh well. But probably the best working missile launcher has to be this one right here, where it has the 5 on it. It can extend up, and it can go up and down. You can load a missile, and it has a very good spring. Let's just launch it at my hand. There we go. Now, as for die-cast parts, the whole body section here is all complete die-cast. Same with the blue lion, which is really nice. And unfortunately, once again, paint's a little messy on these guys. Which again, it's a knockoff, so I was expecting that. But the strangest one has to be the blue lion. The nose is not even painted black, which is so weird. I'll push this back in. But it's not the end of the world. Now, for these guys' articulation, the head can go up, and when it goes up, this leg actually goes in, which I think is interesting. It's also a little bit loose, so I gotta be careful. Same thing with this one. Actually, I think both legs just went in as I lifted the head up. Let's see. Yes, I think they both go in. That's kind of cool. Mouths are on... No, this one can open and close regularly. But this one's on a spring, which is a little odd. I'm gonna do some biting action there. And the legs, they are ratchets. I think they're ratchets. Got hinge, some more ratcheting, sort of. Got some hinges again, and got bend of the paw. And then you got tail movement here. Now, I think this tail could be die-cast because it's really durable. When you have it folded down all the way for robot mode, it's really hard to get out. So what I do is I use a screwdriver with a flat end like this. And when it's all the way down, just to demonstrate, just do this. And you can use it like a little lever. And just carefully push it up. And then you get it back in. Now, unfortunately, there is some wear on the back here, which is a shame, because I got it brand new, but I guess that's what happens when you buy knockoffs. But these are still cool knockoffs. These are good knockoffs. And that's pretty much it for these guys. Now onto their accessories. Starting with the Blue Lion's accessories, here we have this thing that they call the spear missile. And supposedly it can stick onto the sides like so. And I think that's pretty cool. It doesn't launch anything, just pretend fire. Next up is the sword weapon. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. I know it's in here somewhere. Hold on. No. Oh, here it is. I just have a whole pile of stuff on the table. Here it is, and it just goes into the mouth. Let's just open it up. Stick it in there. I'm kind of scared of the chrome chipping, so I don't know how long I'll keep them in there like that, but I guess that works. And let's see, I think that's it for this one, but this yellow lion has some pretty crazy stuff going on. So you get this razor blade thing, which they call the sand/land mine. Let's just stick that one here. And now you get yet another missile launcher. I couldn't find any missiles that work with this one, but it's not a big deal for me. So basically, this lion, hold on. This lion is so armed to the teeth with rocket launchers and guns. Like, you got, hold on. So he's got these, got this, so it doesn't really stay on very well. Maybe if I put it here, it'll stick on. There, that seems okay. It's got that, this here, and these ear cans, and that just fell off. And I almost forgot this blade, which goes into the spring-loaded mouth. A little tricky to get in there. Just bearing with me. No, don't go in there like that. Come on. Come on! Chrono needs this. Okay, I was able to get all the weapons on off camera, and here's how they all look. And just look how crazy this looks. This is another reason why I love the yellow lion so much. Because gun, this thingy, and the blade, which is just, it just screams overkill. It just, I don't know. It's awesome. 80s was great. And here we have the 5 lions all together with all their weapons except for the red lion's laser gun, on which I could not stick anywhere onto the sides, unfortunately. But overall, this is awesome. But it gets even more awesome when you combine them. So it's time to get them into Voltron. But first, we gotta have them disarmed. we have Golion slash Voltron slash Lionbot all put together into the robot mode, and this is beautiful. I love all the colors and the chrome. It makes it look like jewelry. But I still am really bugged by those wings. I'm going to turn this figure around so you can see a little better. But they're still floppy, and they don't like to stay in place anywhere no matter what I do. It's really annoying. And I just wish I could find a way to fix it. But like I said, I did contact the seller where I got this from, and he's going to see if he can get me a second Black Lion. So that's exciting. But overall, this design is just so iconic. And I just love this head. The fact that it has this big animal head up here and the face, there are many Sentai mecha that are out there that took inspiration from this, and that just shows how much of an icon this robot is. However, I heard Golion was not really that popular in Japan. But the engineering on this toy is remarkable. It's so simple, but you know, you gotta be careful with these old toys, even though this is kind of a reissue. But this is just incredible in all angles. Let's do a full 360 here. Also, this guy is really heavy since all the lions have die-cast parts. You gotta hold him with both hands. And he's a chunky bastard. Now, for opposability, it's pretty limited. It's very similar to a Megazord or Sentai figure. It's got the arms. We got a bend at the elbow. I don't recommend doing this, but he has a really tight bicep swivel. As for the legs, I don't think they can move at all. Actually, yes, they can, just that one's tight. You can do a kick. I don't recommend doing this because of all the die cast. You can kick like that, and thanks to transformation, the heads can go down, but I don't recommend doing that either. Now, as mentioned before, this guy can rocket punch. And it's really crazy looking to watch. It's really crazy to watch this guy shoot these lions. Hold on. Oh, having some issues. There we go. Kind of lock in place a little bit in some parts. Anyway, let's just have him shoot against the wall. Starting with the red lion. And now, with the green lion. Now onto the accessories. You got this enormous sword, which is called the Chogokin in Golion and the blazing sword in Voltron. And you can hold the sword like so. I'll open the mouth first. Alright. There we go. And for his quote-unquote shield. Sorry, I knocked over that sword there. You get this shield, or it's technically a spinning razor blade, but in the toy they wanted to make it a shield because I guess it looks cool. And just stick it right in there, and there you go. And now for some size comparisons. Here he is next to the Galaxy Megazord, and this is what I was talking about earlier. They both have lion heads and with horns. And they have the same exact motif going on, which I think is cool. Jet Icarus, which is one of my favorite designs in all Super Sentai, and this guy is technically a knockoff as well because it doesn't have any die-cast metal and has some fragile clips which broke over time. But these guys are still pretty cool together as well. Jungle Pride Megazord, which also took some inspiration from Golion, and this is what I was talking about here with the tiger head, and it has a lion head, and they both have little horns sticking out. And also has little cat feet as well, which I think is pretty awesome. Senpujin, which is another awesome die-cast mecha. The Soul of Chogokin Daitarn 3FA. The high-grade Gundam Revive. The Black Series Darth Nihilus. And the Soul of Chogokin Vehicle Voltron slash Die Rugger 15. Now, when it comes to my favorite of these two, because these were considered both Voltrons, I would have to say Vehicle Voltron. I prefer the robot mode over this. However, as individual components, I do prefer Golion slash Lion Voltron a lot more because they just do a lot more rather than just being these plain looking vehicles. But which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Vehicle Voltron or Lion Voltron? Be sure to tell me in the comments below. And there you have my review on the DX Chogokin Golion / Lionbot KO. If you want this figure, you can get them off of eBay. There's so many of them out there. However, it's gonna be expensive. If you combine shipping, it costs roughly $200, but they're all over the place on eBay, sold in Taiwan. And despite some problems I have with this set, I still think it's amazing. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.